Today we're lucky enough to have with us Mayor Curry, who is joining us on our expedition that starts tomorrow. If we're lucky enough, he's going to come out for a couple of days, or at least one day. And following that, we're going to be joined by our chairman, Chris Fisher, founding chairman and expedition leader, as well as our scientists who will be introduced to you, and some of our key partners, including Costa. And with that, I'm going to let Mayor Curry welcome OCEARCH to Jacksonville.
Good morning. Good morning. This is pretty exciting. When I learned about this, what OCEARCH is doing right here in Jacksonville, it was really exciting to me when I discovered that Lydia, 2,000-pound, 14-foot, 6-inch great white shark, was discovered right here in Jacksonville, and my understanding is now off of the coast of Savannah. Is that right? Yeah, so that's pretty exciting. I am going to try to spend some time, a day and a half if possible, experiencing what these guys do. My hope is that over time, we were talking before, you've discovered maybe a real jewel here, and that over time there'll be even more of a presence here in Jacksonville, Florida. I will tell you that my only experience with a shark was recently fishing with my son, and took the back of his tune off as he was reeling him in. And that's as close as I want to get. So I'll watch you guys at a distance. Look, it's an honor to be here. This is exciting. This is important for Jacksonville. I think it speaks to the natural resources that we have here, and doubles down my commitment to protecting those resources. So with that, I'd like to introduce Chris, please, and thanks for having me. Thank you.
We'd like to thank the mayor and everyone for really making us feel so much at home, here in Jacksonville. 3 years ago, we came down here and were led here by a 4,000-pound great white shark named Mary Lee that we tagged up in Cape Cod. She led us down to Jacksonville and actually spent some time right underneath your all's old pier here at Jacksonville Beach. And many things happened for OCEARCH at that moment. I called down to the Jacksonville Beach Police Department and I said, this is going to be a crazy phone call. We have a 4,000-pound white shark right in one of your surf breaks down there. And they proceeded to go down and look after the beach and let everyone know the shark was there, and then Mary Lee moved off the beach and pinged in a few miles offshore, and everybody went back to surfing and enjoying the water. And it was the first time I really had an understanding that the science we were pursuing actually had a public safety component. But the question was, why did Mary Lee come to Jacksonville? There weren't supposed to be large, mature white sharks hanging off the beaches here. So in February of 2013, we immediately moved the ship down here to try to understand what was going on, and everyone said it was impossible. There are no mature white sharks off Northeast Florida, but we knew there was one. There was Mary Lee. The question was, were there more? And after the crew of this ship, some of the most tenacious, courageous explorers I've experienced on the water around the world, grinding on the water through foul weather for 20 days, we came upon Lydia, right in front of the Mayport Poles. And we were able to tag Lydia, and when Lydia took us on a journey we would never have expected any of us to be a part of. She left here, she went to Newfoundland, and then crossed the Mid-Atlantic Ridge and ignited a conversation in the United Kingdom, and then slid down off the Azores, Northwest Africa, before returning to the Bahamas, and is now off the Outer Banks. Lydia has connected the dots and demonstrated that the fish that live off your shores here are the crucial balance keepers of the entire North Atlantic Ocean. If they don't thrive, our children simply will not eat fish sandwiches. So how can we help them thrive, right? We have to solve the fundamental puzzle of their lives. Where are they mating? Where and when are they giving birth? What's their full migratory range? And our early science indicates that this part of the United States is a crucial part and critical habitat of the North Atlantic white shark's lives. All of you all in Jacksonville should be so proud to be a part of a critical component in looking after its future, to look after the future of all of the North Atlantic Ocean. So we're here today with a few objectives as we head out tomorrow. We have to tag more white sharks for our scientists so they have a sample size that allows them to develop the science required to manage the future. Actually, the critical data set to manage toward abundance. We need to tag a male white shark to help identify the mating sites where the males and females come together by overlapping their tracks. And we need to include this region and the people of the United States at a scale unseen since the great Jacques Cousteau. so that people understand what is going on. What is OCEARCH? OCEARCH is the democratization of exploration, science, and education. We give everything away. Everyone is included. Be a part of this. We are democratizing an ancient space, and it is for the people, by the people. And we are thrilled to be here. We are grateful for the welcome. It is so good to be back in the US of A. After tagging Lydia, we traveled the world to assist other communities. We went to the Galapagos, Chile, Brazil, the Great Barrier Reef, the west coast of Australia. The crew drove 70 days from Australia back to here so we could return to the good old US of A for the next 3 years and serve our children and your children. It's a privilege to do that. We take that obligation very seriously. We never take it for granted. And we invite everyone to join in the journey. So thank you to the mayor. Thank you to the people of Jacksonville who've come down here, brought food to the guys on the crew. When you are away for the length of time that we are, when you come to a place that makes you feel so at home, like the people of Jacksonville, it is just makes you want to serve that community even harder, serve those children even more. And it's a thrill to be back in the United States and specifically here in Jacksonville. And now we're going to get ready to give you all a little idea of what's going on in the science brief. Thank you all for coming down. And here is James Gelslider and Heather Marshall, two of our chief scientists in various areas. And Jimmy is from UNF right here, where Heather is from Mote Laboratory.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to Expedition Jacksonville 2016. You know, as Mr. Fisher indicated, OCEARCH first visited here in 2013, and we were fortunate enough to be part of that. At UNF, we're kind of your hometown shark biology program. We have been surveying shark populations here off of the coast of Jacksonville since 2009. We do that annually. Jacksonville is home to about 15 different shark species that regularly inhabit our area, and we're talking about sharks that you could fit in 2 palms of your hand up to, as we've seen, 13, 14-foot white sharks. One of the things that we have not been able to survey that much has been the white shark in our own program. And as Mr. Fisher had indicated, one of the real benefits of working with OCEARCH is that it provides us with a platform in order to study these animals that might be a little bit more elusive to a program such as ours, in order to get very critical data, in order to identify things like, where do these animals go? Where do they mate? What areas are critical to critical habitat for some of these activities, such as feeding and mating and reproduction. Now, one of the things that we've tried to do with the white shark is really to stretch the amount of information that we can get from these animals. So we will have scientists on board that will be sampling things like parasites to identify host relationships with parasites, implanting tags that will allow us to identify the movement patterns of these animals so that we can identify what regions are important. Our crew will be on board to sample blood to identify stress of the animals and reproduction, and just about everything we can figure out about this animal to unravel the mystery of the white shark here on the Atlantic coast.
Good morning, everyone. So yeah, as Jimmy said, we're just looking to get more tags out, expand our sample size. It's really exciting to be able to have access to these animals in the way that OCEARCH allows. To be able to take blood samples, get parasite samples, fin clips, etc. And it really is just an incredible amount of data that we collect in the 15 minutes that these sharks are on board with us. So yeah, we're all prepped, we're ready. We got more scientists coming in, and we're ready to just expand our sample size, like Chris said, hopefully get a male, and just learn more about this population of white sharks. So we're ready to get started. It's exciting to be back here. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Bud Hansen with Costa, and we are super proud to be a part of this expedition and have been working with Chris since, I think, about 2011. At Costa, we are a very conservation-minded brand. Many people know us for the sea. You see it on the sunglasses. But the piece that you may not often see is what I would call maybe our tagline, see what's out there. It's 4 words that if you really unpack that concept, it's really our DNA of exploration. And, see what's out there means to get out there in our watery world, get inspired, get educated, and literally seek adventure, seek exploration. And there's really no project that we support that epitomizes that pure thought and that concept more so than OCEARCH. And super proud to have them in our backyard, only an hour and a half from our home base in Daytona, and super excited to get out there and tag some sharks. Thanks.
I get pretty excited about talking about things about the democratization of exploration and science. And we're only able to do that because of the sustainably innovative companies that actually fund the work. They allow us to give everything away. And not to get too emotional, but Costa has been with me for well over a decade, and really their vision for making business and doing good at the same time has really inspired a lot of the core values of OCEARCH. So I'm not going to go into that too much, but there's a lot going on here, and there's a lot of layers, and it's been enabled by a lot of great people and great companies, and certainly Al Perkinson and Bud Hansen at Costa have a tremendous amount to do with our capacity to even be here today. All right, we have the great privilege of being members of the Explorers Club. And the Explorers Club is the great record keeper of all exploration. The logs of the explorers who've come from us all the way back from Napoleon and Cousteau and Hillary reside, along with our logs, at the Explorers Club in Manhattan. And when you go on an expedition like this, you have the opportunity to apply to carry the Explorers Club flag. And there's a strict amount of scrutiny that goes into making sure that we are pursuing science that will benefit the future of mankind, that we have behaved in a way that represent the courage and the fidelity and the commitment of all of the explorers that have come before us, who have discovered the very fundamental things that we need to enjoy a good life with our families and our communities. So today, at this very moment, we will officially kick off Expedition Jacksonville, our 24th expedition, by having Captain Brett McBride, the man who's been with me from the very beginning, 20 years on the water, the man who pioneered the actual method of capturing a 4,000-pound white shark and making access safe for scientists around the world, will fly the Explorers Club flag, and he's supported there by the rest of the crew: Brandon Iyer, Todd Goggin, Mark Bowden, Whitey Evans, and our chef Louis, who's always hiding up there, keeping us fed and is so shy, won't come down. But these are the men, that I am so privileged to stand beside. We have dealt with weather, we have dealt with adversity, and we have overcome it 24 times together safely in the spirit of courage, commitment, and fidelity that matches and parallels any explorer of the past. And it's a privilege and it's humbling to stand beside them. So now Captain Brett McBride will go ahead and put up the Explorers Club flag, and we will officially begin Expedition Jacksonville, OCEARCH's 24th expedition.